This building's been existing for some time, but yet they call for a layout. There's a layout of the utilities. You've got your water layout. See the water the color there, your gas and etc. The layouts is your layouts. What are they doing? Maybe it could be your street repair even, and they're doing a layout for that at that building that needed that they laid out that they were going to do some digging. They were going to do some subsurface here. What were they doing on this side of the road? Subsurface. 5. I have no idea why. That's there's a camera right here. I will tell you that. We have another camera, but I have no idea why they already went to that one. That's the mark off back here. This is what they were getting upset about, that the street was closed off to the beach access, and just a little bit, not much. Turn this way. That these company paid for this blocked off for the cops just to go through, and that's why we can go through there, apparently. And we turn and rotate, and there's some construction going on. Building, we've been back in time. The building that caused the collapse, supposedly by Surfside now, is right here. So Surfside allowed this action to take place, where they demoed the other building, and during the placement of the footers of this building, they caused this building to lose structural integrity 2 years later and collapse. I'm being facetious as hell, but there you have it now. The other building that a few people, trolls, have said it's not the same. Yes, they're the same plans. But right here, this deck turns and comes about there. So there are some alterations. Same plans submitted by Surfside on the website about Surfside. 877 Collins Avenue permit. That's what I'm looking at. 87. Now everyone likes to point out over here. It says Champlain Tower South. This is 877 Collins Avenue structural plans. So you can say south and north and all that other stuff. This south right there. All right. I don't get where you guys are getting so bent. There's those the stress marks we talked about before.
In ruins. Lusky serves as president of the Champlain Tower North. It's identical to the South Tower, but completed a year later in 1982.
They were worked on at the same time, completed a year later.
I mean, everybody says that this is a twin building of the other.
Later in
See right here, north and
1982.
South.
I mean, everybody says that this is a twin building of the other one, and that if something happens to that one, it might happen to this one too, but it's nothing further from the truth.
In a walk through the North Tower's garage shows no signs of cracking.
No signs of cracking. It looks like you got a little bunch of black.
No exposed rebar. No water. And the pump designed to pump water from the garage is brand new. Water.
See right there, that connection there. Now there's a little bit of...
The association's confidence in the North Tower echoed by an expert hired by the city to help determine why the South Tower collapsed. Structural engineer Alan Kilsheimer says he took a good look at the North and the newer East Towers, and he says there's no need to sound the alarm.
Based on the exposed and visible conditions of what I saw.
So based on visual conditions, this guy says your building's safe. Well, that visually conditions of the other building look like it might have been safe too.
Based on my experience with buildings and garages, no, I do not think that's necessary.
Right there, that's that little inside unit, right? That's right about here with a wall failed on the other one. But this one's got a little different configuration. That port setup with this breezeway, if you will.
The expert.
That's where the staircase, I think, is on the other one.
Walk through the South Tower's sister building.
This is right on top of each other, whereas the plans on the other one have it kind of staggered. And if I get the plans wrong, and you guys want to point that out to me, don't forget to point it out with the PayPal. training. Oh, forget that. I want to apologize for that and thank a few people. So let me get my notes. David, Stuart, Robin, Chris, Neil. Sorry, Mariel, Mariel. I don't want to say the full name here because it's a full name. Melanie, I think it's the I. Russell, thanks again. And another one's very interesting. It's only, and I'll leave out the rest. It's only ... Hey, I really appreciate that. I saw your, I looked at my email today, and I saw your donations. That was awesome. I'll tell you what, it's going to go towards some software that I'm going to do some rendering with. I'm going crazy now trying to find software. But you see the setback right here. Floor plan. Lobby level floor plan. It's good enough for me. Let's see if I can trigger some people. There's this south. Lobby level floor plan right here. And the, yeah, don't want to get that wrong. Right. So that's set back to there. Wait a minute. Am I doing that one? Typical floor plan dimensions. So our structure that we're looking at with the collapse is video. It's a little bit configured differently. See how the porches are in line with each other, and those porches are not. Oh, okay, I can do that. Yeah. See, those porches do that on the inside. They go straight back. Whereas that guy is a different beast. She has this beautiful inside radius going on. Now someone said, oh, you're pointing at the wrong building. Well, if I'm pointing at the wrong building, then fucking Channel 7 News is pointing at the wrong building, all right? Chill the fuck out. So
Assurance.
I always say to people, if I tell you I won't let my kids in the building, then you have to worry.
And he smiles about it. Remember the amygdala? If you're lying, then you're going to take it back. If I tell you I won't let my kids in the building, then you have to worry. And remember, it's like me asking you, for all my viewers, the amygdala is something, my new viewers, the amygdala is something beautiful. I think it's all I want to be known for, actually. It will explain everything that you own, that you fight for. So amygdala is thought to be just for fight or flight. I state that it's only for fight purposes. And we fight passively by me saying, you know, get your own video. That's a passive. And we take any attack as an attack, and the amygdala is a petty, what I call a petty bitch. It will want to fight back somehow through passive aggressiveness, through blocking people, etc. It's anything you own. So if you own the color blue, you know what the color is. For example, look at this beautiful turquoise building here. Or look at the banner that they put out here that's in yellow. You see the yellow banner? Or this button, this beautiful blue button right here. So you guys know I did all the colors wrong, and you're correcting it in your mind because your amygdala has conclusive files on what each one of these colors are, and it protects you, any conclusive file you own. So it's a bias. So every time you make a conclusive file, it becomes a bias, and the amygdala protects it. So for $1,000, none of you can call this blue and mean it for the rest of your life. So every time I look at this, you can take $1,000 from me now, say blue, but then you're going to laugh or joke and say how much of a sucker and everything. Well, you didn't mean it, did you? So you can't, because you have a conclusive file that this button is more than likely on your computer red. My luck, somebody's got a blue computer screen that shows the blue. So it's anything we own are conclusive files. And so when you see people attacking, some of them just don't like me, so they're attacking because they don't like me. Not because they really want to help me. Some of them are just petty bitches, and they've already made a conclusive file that in conclusive file they don't like me, and so that's different. If you find something I made a mistake on, then you simply say, "Hey, look, take a look at this. You messed up again, or messed up on this," and I'll look at it and I'll comment saying, "Oops," and I'll correct it.
If I tell you I won't let my kids in the building, then you have to worry.
If I tell you I won't let my kids in the building, then you have to worry. And I don't like him touching his nose either. That's just data. I don't know this guy enough to know if that's a signal.
If I tell you I won't let my kids in the building, then you have to worry.
And then there's the smile, the smirk about it. All right, so he must know that that's not.
I would let my kids be in those buildings.
Now, the mayor of Surfside tells us that there was an in-depth inspection planned this week for those remaining buildings. We're still waiting to hear from condo. officials to get a status check on those inspections.
Well, you needed some core testing, not just status check. I mean, those things. No settling means exactly written. No settlement. So this guy's got a little bitch in him, right? Look at this one. You go to this video here. It says, so any kind of settling is ruled out. Good to know. So he's gonna be a dickhead about it. This my key Barbie, whatever. And I said, you guys know I did a video on liquefaction if you follow it. And I said, you're making a straw man argument. Here's my link for you to donate so I can speak your language. Don't be cheap. So they wrote back, how is my statement a straw man argument? I acknowledge the info presented in regard to settling not being a factor in the collapse. Also, why do you assume I can afford to donate anything? I didn't assume that. I told you to donate. I don't give a fuck about whether you can afford it or not. Donate. All right, so I don't really mean that, guys. I'm just having fun. I never stated any kind of settlement is ruled out. So the straw man is you making it sound like that. That is what I meant. I was talking about in this video, surface-side collapse, no building settlement, and no column set on bedrock. All right, I was talking about the engineer's design system, and also that the settlement is not true. It would be that too many piers would have to settle at the same time, which isn't going to happen. For this to have settlement. So this person can't follow the data. Is an asshole. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to liquid coat that. I never stated any. All right, and they said no settlement means exactly that, written in your very headline. Well, okay, I got a video too, you cock nibbler. Anyway, I have a 55 video playlist, and you need to pay me for being a pest. That's what I told him, and that was that. Okay. So this is the amygdala, him doing that and me going back at him. So people said I should bring back that trick. That's a good joke. That's funny, you know. Somebody's messing with you. You say, hey, hit this link. I used to do that back in the day, and I forgot about it until someone reminded me. This was a swing building. The tall building south is also a swing building. Subsidence, that's settlement, brings these down. Not settling. Settling is not substance and not to be confused. Air bubble parking. What? Air bubble parking lot. Air bubble parking lot with no solid foundation. Pure stilt columns work long term for bridges, not these housing structures. Okay, Ada, and then you gave yourself a thumbs up. That's awesome. This was a swing building. Okay, it was a swingers building. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Most of the bedrock is limestone. It's not to say they didn't really get down to bedrock to get their 150 tons they wanted. All right.
Reporting in Surfside.
Well, they're told to leave their structure, whatever. Remember that guy's paid to be their mouthpiece. So remember, this is the guy. Some people want to defend him, not me. I'm not his defender.
I think when you from
this the guy that's supposed to be accelerated bridge construction.
Comes to everyone's mind is that what caused this collapse? I mean, you're afraid.
So he had nothing to say about the FIU bridge crosswalk collapse, but he can't shut his fucking mouth when it comes down to this damn bridge. I mean, to this failure of the structure.
That many people have lost their lives, and rightfully so. People are very concerned, and they're concerned because they say, okay, if this happened to this building, is it going to happen to the building that I'm at? And am I going to be able to sleep comfortably, not having the possibility of the building collapse? And as the structural engineers, actually in the computer, we can simulate. Once we have all
right, it's all bullshit. They work for the damn city. We know the engineer for the city works for the fucking city. So engineer for Surfside works for Surfside. Now apparently he won't look at him. He's another one. He won't stop. Let's see. How long is this one? I made it only that far into it, and I was like, you know, he's just a mouthpiece for the development company. He's out there 1 week ago. Won't stop. Veterinary tasked with finding out what went wrong in Surfside. 307.
Well, each piece of debris will be scrutinized as experts search for the cause of the collapse.
Calvin, he is considered the go-to guy when it comes to investigating structural failures like this, and he tells us he will soon be on the case, hired by an attorney to try to figure out what went wrong.
It's unexplainable. I'm bewildered.
Structural engineer John Pistorino has been hired to figure this one out.
Did he just say it was unexplainable, and he was hired to? Oh gosh.
Concrete is gives you a warning. It gives you a warning. It doesn't fail that fast.
Concrete gives you a warning. The warning he's talking about are cracks, and that shows you the stress on the spans causing that. On the spans.
He's been a structural engineer for 54 years. He actually wrote the 40-year building recertification process for Miami-Dade County.
Oh, that's the guy.
He's investigated the Miami-Dade College garage collapse, the FIU bridge collapse, and many others around the U.S., but he says this one is different, and he's watched this video 100 times.
That was an eye-opener. The only time I've ever seen something that dramatic, that quick, was when we were imploding, demolishing buildings on purpose.
Once the recovery process is done, a team of engineers will move in.
They're going to have to pull pieces of the building off one at a time, and we put them in a separate yard and so we kind of almost reconstruct the building and we identify every piece where it was, where it should have been. How did that fail? Was it a collapse or something else?
But even before that work starts, the video does tell a story.
Sequence of collapsing, mechanism of collapsing, leads me right to that center area. This, to me, seemed like it.
Well, this guy's a fucking genius.
It was really from underneath the building.
This collapse has many wondering about high-rise safety.
I think our buildings are fine, and we have no reason to fear if you're living in a high-rise.
There you go, another mouthpiece.
You should be worried because of this. Something here is very unique and something I can't answer right now, and that's what's bothering me.
History on. Someone told me to look at this video. Right here, this one. They told me to look at that. I don't get Londoners throwing stuff.
The Champlain Tower South was demolished.
They said, look at this. This is what you said. They said July 6th. This is what one of the viewers who watched this channel said.
On Sunday, but engineering experts are still studying images taken right after the initial collapse. And what they've discovered is concerning. Local 10 News investigator Jeff Weinstein continues our live team coverage. Jeff.
Nicole, experts are comparing the original building plans to pictures taken after the collapse, and the amount of steel they thought they would see, they aren't. The pictures.
Oh, isn't that something? We went over this. Yeah, I see now what you meant. I didn't really look. I looked on my cell phone when you talked to me, when you sent me that link. Yeah, the steel seems kind of shy, but the bypass steel might be on the ground. It was very minimal on the bypass steel. I had a couple trolls tell me that there were so many pieces supposed to be in there. You know what? I am not going. I block those, delete those comments because I don't want people believing like that post-tension guy saying that whatever non-integrity channel that is post-tension. Well, I don't want people to read those comments and believe that that steel was there. And as this even report says, hey, look, it's shy of that. But worse than that, this tells a hell of a story. This shape right here is what I talked about in one of my videos. It tells a different type of punch shear than the rest of the punch shears, this bevel shape. Also, this is just ripped it out. It really matters. They should do some pull-out. That'd be great. Oh, you can't do a pull-out test on that. The column's probably gone. That'd have been nice to do a pull-out test on that. What else would he have here? Let's go.
And what's left standing are telling seasoned engineers a story.
Yeah, see the two pieces sticking out, the pull-out. We talked about that, but that shape I talked about in one of the videos. And I showed you punch shear, how it is. And we see how the cars stayed in place and the collapse was just direct. We saw this, the right about there, right thereabouts is the, oh yeah, that's working hard. Right there, thereabouts is the butterfly, my bias butterfly.
These three columns remained intact after the collapse, and they are raising eyebrows.
There seemed to be less reinforcing steel than what the drawings showed.
Not by much. Not by much. That drawing doesn't show much. It's 1976 code. It looks like it's pretty close to having the steel. I know I said that it's not enough, I said. But it looks pretty close. I can't quite tell, but it looks pretty close to what the drawings have. Usually, the shop drawings would beef it up. The architect's drawing is one, but that was the structural drawings there.
Either less.
That is the structural drawings here. So, I know a couple people saying, oh, they changed it. They're gonna hit a bitching in the comments. You're gonna get the link. They're gonna get my PayPal link when you do that. You're gonna have to pay. Where the hell is it? Let's, yep, rebar, reinforcement right there. Where are my columns? Where are my beautiful columns? I'm waiting for Doss to chime in. I haven't seen him, Doss, on that first part of the video before I make my statement about the lady that the first part of the video I did early today. So this is not it. You won't get it yet. Getting close. The one guy was close, my man. So look, guys, I think I pointed out punch shear many times. This is clearly it says slab opening detail for the down the chute or something like that. My brain, all I wanted to see was punch shear protection, and I called this in numerous videos punch shear protection. I'm off by 10 miles on that one. Let's edit that. I see two fucking pieces of steel. I see a couple pieces sticking out there. Maybe here, maybe that one popped off. I see 1-2 pieces there, so I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just saying it's not enough punch shear protection. They're saying it's not matching the plans. I'm like, that looks pretty damn close to matching the plans. The other steel's on the ground that came but bypassed it. So I sort of debunked that little
columns remain intact after the collapse, and they are raising eyebrows.
There seemed to be less reinforcing steel than what the drawings showed.
He says he sees less steel than what the drawing shows.
Less, either less or improperly placed or both.
Shaker.
This steel is not there, though. This steel is missing for sure. I did a video on that steel. Steel on this whole construction joint, so that was missing for sure. And the steel that they should have would be interfaced with the block wall into the floors. All right, so back to this one. Let's finish this up a little bit.
Now it's possible the two others were just outside the footprint of the column, so it disappeared with the failure, but they should have been right over the column.
This looks like it's stripped out. They could have been in that head, and now they're gone down here. So,
Has concerns about the pool area as well. And remember, witnesses claimed the pool deck and garage.
So this is the punch here. So this is, now there's a cars probably under here holding this up. I would kind of theorize, holding this up at this elevation, and then right here is where their driving area is. So there are no cars. This is my but. I'd love to know where the epoxy was done. That would be your indicator, your number one indicator.
Collapse prior to the tower coming down.
Some of the pictures show a clean break in the slab around the swimming pool.
Right.
But the drawings show that there should be a significant amount of reinforcing steel through that joint.
This steel is not there, though. This steel is missing for sure. I did a video on that steel. Right, okay, so we're on the same page on that. So we're 100% on the same page on that. I talked about this joint, there was none there.
And I don't see that in the pictures after the collapse.
The man hired by the town of Surfside to investigate the collapse says more analysis needs to be done.
It looks like two pieces right there. See that? There's two pieces from the column.
All concrete is made to cracks.
All right, so this is bullshit.
So you're going to see cracks in all concrete.
So
the issue is, what does it mean?
Oh, hell, he's wearing a Surfside shirt now. So he's just saying, fuck it. Don't worry about cracks.
The issue is, what does it mean? That's the bottom line.
The only way I can see this having happened is that there was some significant flaw in how it was built. I can't think of any other failure that really surprised me more than this.
Some significant flaw. I say there's no significant flaw in this building. It lasted 40 years. So no significant flaw, 1976 code, but the repairs and adding to that deck and tying into the columns, I believe, were a bad move. Totally legal 1976, right? Obviously. So you can't say it's a flaw if it was legal then. It's a current day. It's obsolete, but you know, current day you tie into the damn columns too. But here we go.
The concrete, the steel, the soil underground will all be tested as part of the investigation. And when this building was built,
made to crack. So you're going to see cracks in all concrete.
Concrete's made to crack. Where's he buy his concrete from?
Concrete is made to crack. So you're going to see cracks in all concrete.
So concrete's not made to crack. It may be reinforced where once the crack happens, the steel engages, and now it's in tension. And now it can take the load still with the crack present. Observing that the crack does not widen on the bottom side. If it does, you're getting your slip of your rebar out of your concrete. Your pull-out is losing. So that will be, I bet, you know, I keep forgetting I got to do redundancy. So pull-out test of concrete. Let's try that. Let's see the way that came up. Here we go. Let's use a 252. This is good. A pull-out test of ribbed reinforced bar embedded in concrete. Let's fast forward.
To almost full depth, both of them.
Let's fast forward. That's for the reinforcement. And there's the device is going to pull it out. It's trapped inside.
Gradually.
Let me stop that. It's trapped inside the clamps, so it can't go up. So there are actually two forces acting on it. One that's this is pulling out, and the other one's the compressive force here pushing down. So the pull-out comes, it's going to fracture it, but then that will give you a value of failure. So right there's a failure, and say it took 6,000 psi. Well, with that spacing, and you can then extrapolate how you can keep going. There's the breakout. At the point there, it's pretty much down. It drops there we go. Watch it. It drops in value. It can come out at a lower psi. You see the fracture there. So your deck. So rebar failure in tension. Look at this one. So this is a huge test for they're figuring out. You know, once you figure this out, it's using value because now you know what size bar, the depth you put it in. This is just a wedge. And this is a ram that pulls it out and it converts PSI, size of the piston, and everything else to the value. Tensile strength of the rebar failed as opposed to the pull-out. Slow motion on it, I guess. Oh no, there's the burst. There's the cone. So that's the burst now. That's the failure there. It's epoxy. Whoa, what's going on here? Because that looks like a. Wait a minute, I can't see it. Bend down. Watch it again. Looks like he's doing multiple tests on a sample of concrete, and we'll see the values of it. Can add them up and see what goes. And you can do an overhang with this. You can say, okay, now we can do an overhang. All right, the value is there. They know the penetration, that concrete. So I think I can end the video with that, talking to you about the pull-out test. Besides that, take care, guys. Just again, we just went over that data there. I don't know what you can do with it, but you add it up, and you understand that this is a major flaw. That if they epoxied here, then that's where we get started. But that is going parallel with the end of the deck, not with the pool. Parallel. So here's the pool. This will be what I consider parallel side. Here's the south side of the structure. North to south with no reinforcement. And that could be where they attempted the epoxy. And that could also be the start of the collapse. Or I guess I'll give up a little bit of it. Or did it come from the other direction and work its way out? Did it come from the building and work its way out to the pool? Okay. Did it come from the building and work its way out to the pool? Question mark. Good day. In this image here, you see that's the one corner. You see the cars are pretty intact there. Keep in mind the deck didn't really fall down in that parking garage area right there, as you see in the lower left here below the 527 or above the 527. So you'd have been safe had you been in that car apparently. And that would be Q is the closest column to that. Follow that Q straight down. So that's interesting that the safest place that the deck held out down to there, which also means we don't have all this quicksand you guys are talking about, that we get all this falling down. That's more evidence that there's no liquefaction that took place, no sinkholes at that location now. So debunking the sinkholes,